event that first pulled back the veil for me. My first brush with the paranormal, and the man I came to know as Masa-san. Masa-san is a Zainichi Korean, an ethnic Korean who has lived in Japan for over 30 years. He comes from an ancient lineage with a two-syllable surname, which is quite rare for Koreans. His father was an ogamiya, a traditional exorcist, and Masa-san inherited the family trade. He got his nickname because he looks exactly like the famous pro wrestler Masa Saito. It all started with my old friend Park. His family was wealthy. They owned yakiniku restaurants, adult entertainment venues, and several love hotels. One of their newest hotels was a gold mine at first, but then the business just dried up. Rumors started spreading that the place was haunted. At the same time, tragedies began hitting Park's family one after another. His grandmother died, his mother fell into a deep, dark depression, and his father was diagnosed with stomach cancer. Desperate, they consulted a famous medium. She told them point blank, "You are cursed. I can break it. If I fail, you pay nothing. If I succeed, it will cost you 5 million yen." Park didn't believe in any of this mystical nonsense. He thought she was a con artist. But his father was terrified. To prove to his dad that it was all a scam, Park made me an offer. "Stay one night in that specific room. I'll pay you 100,000 yen and send an escort girl over. If nothing happens, my father will finally calm down." I agreed. The following Saturday at 8 p.m., I checked into room 508 with a girl named Yuki-chan. The room felt normal to me, but Yuki kept complaining about a biting cold, even though the AC was off. We had some drinks, spent time in the bath, and eventually fell asleep around 1 a.m. I woke up to a strange sound. Click, 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 like someone clipping their fingernails. Yuki wasn't in bed. I tried to light my Zippo, but it wouldn't spark. The matches were damp. The room looked different. The same layout, but everything was faded, decayed, and the air smelled like wet earth. My body felt heavy, like it was made of lead. I went to the bathroom to splash water on my face, but the taps were dry. Instead, a gurgling sound and the stench of a sewer rose from the drain. Then, a knock at the door. I opened it. Yuki was standing there, completely naked. Her eyes were solid black, no whites, just two voids. In her left hand, she gripped a Japanese katana. She moved toward me in total silence. I threw an ashtray at her, but it passed through her body like it was made of mist. My lighter did the same. Yuki swung the blade. I threw up my left arm to protect myself. The blade hit. My left arm, severed at the forearm, hit the floor. I screamed. The next strike sliced from my left shoulder down to my solar plexus. I scrambled for the door, slipping on my own blood, and felt the blade bite into my back. The door was locked. The last thing I remember was the blade coming down from my neck and the sound of my forehead hitting the door frame. I woke up to a scratching sound. It was Yuki. She was frantically clawing at the door, her fingernails torn and bleeding. She was muttering something nonsensical in Korean. I checked myself. My arm was attached, my neck was fine, and the room was brand new again. But then I looked at the floor. There was a puddle of my own urine, and deep, fresh gouges in the hardwood floor where the sword had struck. There was no blood and no katana. I called Park immediately. When I got in the shower and looked in the mirror, my heart stopped. On my neck, my shoulder, my chest, and my back, there were dark purple welts, about 5 millimeters wide. They were exactly where I had been cut in the dream. A week later, Park brought the medium. The moment she stepped out of the car, her crystal prayer beads shattered and flew everywhere. She turned pale. "Forgive me, this is beyond my power. I can't help you," she said, and literally ran away. A month passed. My wounds started to rot. Standard ointments did nothing. The gashes were getting deeper. Park looked even worse. He had become a living skeleton with gray, earthy skin. He confessed that every night in that room he was being killed, and the dreams felt more real than his actual life. His body, too, was covered in putrid, festering wounds. Park eventually found a shimatsu ya, a fixer who deals with curses involving the Korean community. That was Masa-san. We were taken to his sanctuary, a small, cramped house in the woods, surrounded by iron stakes driven into the earth. A barrier. Masa-san shaved our heads and eyebrows. He painted Sanskrit characters on our backs with a mixture that smelled of vinegar. In the back of the yard was a well, covered by a heavy black stone. Masa-san warned us. That is an entrance to hell. Do not go near it. The curse on you is an ikiryo, a living ghost. He explained that we were safe inside the stakes because the spirits in the well draw evil toward themselves. But if we stepped outside the line, the well would consume us too. Masa-san told us that normal ghosts can't hurt physical flesh, but our wounds were inflicted on our spiritual bodies by a high-ranking entity. It turned out that before the hotel, an old Japanese house stood on that land. Park's family had bought the land from a ruined owner whose daughter now worked in one of their own brothels. That girl, Yuki, was unknowingly projecting all her rage and resentment. When we asked why the Korean mediums fled, Masa-san was cynical. He explained that Korean spirits don't have strong protector gods in Japan. He spoke of Han, the deep, unresolvable resentment ingrained in Korean history. He said when a Korean person encounters an ancient Japanese deity protecting a bloodline, they are utterly defenseless. It turned out Yuki's father, before committing suicide, had performed a ritual. He transformed his hatred for the Korean moneylenders into a curse, using a family relic, likely a sacred temple sword. Yuki had become the vessel for that curse. To heal our rotting flesh, Masa-san heated salt and sulfur in a cauldron and literally scrubbed the rot off our bodies with the boiling mixture. The pain was hellish, but after 3 days, the wounds finally closed. We stayed with Masa-san for 6 months. We learned that the real Yuki was slowly dying, her life force being drained by the curse. Masa-san decided to end it. He took me to her apartment. She was emaciated, but still beautiful. She was having the same dreams. Dreaming she was being violated in the hotel, her mind's way of processing the desecration of her family land, and dreaming that she was killing her tormentors. Masa-san found an altar in her home with a photo of her father. It radiated the same darkness as the well. He broke the curse by forcing Yuki to take her mother's photo and leave. The spirit of her father was consumed by the barrier and dragged into that well. When it was over, Park asked, "That sound from the well that night, was that our ghosts?" "That was the cry of Oni, demons," Masa-san replied. "The contents of that well will be purified one day, but that day just moved a little further away. We stepped past the barrier. That sticky, clinging fear was gone." Masa-san drove away, leaving us to return to the normal world. A world that, to us, would never feel quite as safe again.